so creative, so unique, and really does a really good job of displaying just how talented these actors are. Um, so, just a brief description of what they did. Basically, at Grand Central Station, they set up this soundproof glass box, and inside the glass box was their office from the show. And it showed, or the actors all came in and they were sitting at their desks, typing, doing their work, talking, chatting, fooling around, all kinds of stuff, but basically staying in character and not acknowledging the crowd for 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's so impressive to me. Like staying in character for 3 hours and not acknowledging the hundreds of people staring at you. Like,
In a glass room, no less.
at least it's soundproof, so there's that. They have no idea what you're saying, so you can say anything, and that might help relieve some of the stress of having to stay in character because you could still say whatever you want. But from the video that I saw, it looked like they were doing a really good job of being their character, even with whatever they were actually saying. Like it looked like they were
Dude, thank you.
genuinely being themselves,
Appreciate you.
or their character selves, I guess.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just such a unique way to advertise, and I love it so much. Um, Made me really happy to see that because it's just I don't think I've ever heard of any other advertisement like that. Like commercials all over the place, sure, but that's so cool to me. I fucking love it.
Well, I mean,
I'm
if we were to
impressed.
look at it, if we were to look at it from like a metaphorical sense, right? And I think this is really its strong point, is that like you're locked out from the outside world when you're inside the facility,
Thank you.
right? And because you're locked out from the outside world, the simple fact they were able to act so well and just block out the entire outside world around them in a glass room kind
Mhm.
of really sends the whole point of that home, that they have absolutely no connection with reality outside of
That's a
work
good point. I hadn't even
in their
really thought
brain.
about that, but yeah, that's also another aspect to it that's really cool. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Nice
really
little
fucking cool.
metaphorical meaning.
Hmm.
I love that. They do a great job of that in that show.
Yeah.
I think that some of their biggest strong points in Severance are camera work. The angles are just fantastic. The way that they move the camera around, especially during I talked about this last time, but um the 8 minute uh first 8 minutes of the first episode that they showed, the first like minute and a half of that was him running through the hallways. Obviously, that's not a spoiler. Him running through the hallways, but the way the camera is moving and the fact that it lasts so long
Mm,
and he like stops and turns around a couple of times, to me the camera work really showed his anxiety,
yeah.
how he was feeling being in those hallways and running through
Well,
them. Like that showed his anxiety to me, and like I know that. I you know.
well,
I feel that.
and correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they have a shot kind of like that in the first season near the very beginning of it?
Um he did it did show him entering the building. He was walking, so it's a parallel.
Right.
It's a good parallel, but it's
Right.
a much different energy, and I feel like the camera work really helped with that.
Sure.
Um, and so I think that time um, that they took to show him running through the halls was just as important as any other scene. They could have ended it early and put another scene in there, but I feel like having it last that long portrays the anxiety even more because it's like you don't know when that's going to end, you know?
Right.
It
Yeah.
feels like it's forever. It just keeps going when you're having a panic attack like that. And like he wasn't I don't know if it was technically having a panic attack, but he was clearly stressed out. Um
So being as we have kind of like a little bit of a severance like newbie here, what has been your favorite thing that you've seen so far, Michaela?
yeah.
I've only seen one episode,
What did
Oh,
you like
So,
okay.
about it?
um, I thought, what did I like about it? I thought it was funny. There
Yeah.
was like some humor to it and stuff, and there was some little like mystery to figure out as the episodes progress. Because you're at first you're kind of like, what's going on, and seeing how it is and stuff.
Just a warning. That feeling of what's going on is going to keep happening.
Yeah,
That show is so good at twists. Like,
Yep.
at no point did I know what was going to happen next. Like, sure, there were a
yeah,
few things here and there that were a little bit predictable, but that's almost impossible to avoid for some people because, like, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm pretty fucking good at predicting what's going to happen in shows. And that's why I
yeah.
love Severance so much is because I have no fucking clue what's going to happen most of the time. It's awesome. Hi Kirsty. Um it's just it's nice to not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also
I
think
mean,
a couple of its other strong points are Adam Scott just in general.
yeah, fair.
But the way he acts with just his face,
Hmm.
he's so good at it. Like I didn't
Yeah.
realize like I liked him in Parks and Rec, but I didn't realize how good of an actor he was until I saw him in this and I'm like, holy shit, he can do so much more.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No, it was the same thing for me too. Like watching him in Parks and Rec, completely different story. And
Mhm.
and and that's the thing, right? Is like some of these actors that they've pulled for like more serious roles that have played in things that are like very comedic and not so serious. It's really interesting to see those actors kind of come in and try some kind of real serious role.
Oh,
Um,
ads have started, so let's
Super fan
take a
of that.
pause.
Okay, we can take a pause. Yeah.
I
So do we want to
think
move on from the ad break or no?
I was going to say something about what was it? Oh yeah, the putting funny actors in serious roles. I had another thing I wanted to add to that
Sweet.
about
Sweet.
a different thing, but related to that concept.
Yeah.
Not on the list, but it came in my brain, so I'm gonna do it. I think we've got another. I don't know. I don't know how long it has. You should know because you have the window open, right?
I'm it says 8 seconds. 5, 4,
Already?
3, 2,
That was a really short ad
1.
break.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's
So,
supposed to be 3 minutes, but I haven't gotten a notification that the ads are done.
I mean, I would wait.
I
I
think
would
I have
wait
a
on.
minute 45 because
I, I would wait on yours
it
because
says
I watch a
pre-roll
lot of
off for
Twitch.
that amount of time, and it's 3 minutes of ads and then an hour without ads.
Yeah, yeah,
So it says 61:30 right now, so I'm guessing we have a minute and a half before the ad break is done.
yeah. I would wait.
Um, if not, and anyone in chat realizes that the chat or that the ad break is over, let me know.
Yeah.
Are you still on ads, Sean?
No, ads are back. Or sorry, we're back from ads on my Twitch side.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know how
I watch a
because
lot of Twitch.
oh, maybe I don't know. Maybe you have. Do you have Twitch Prime or anything like that? No.
No,
Oh, that's right. We don't have Amazon Prime.
I don't pay
I
for
knew
that
that.
shit.
No, I
Too
used to
expensive.
when it actually had 2 day
A month.
shipping.
Well, that and it actually had a monthly option. Now it's like we
Yeah,
bill you monthly for the whole year, all at once.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
um, is ad break over? Oh, I don't know. I think got 30 seconds left unless someone says anything in chat sooner, but I think we've
I
got
think
about 20 now.
I think we should follow what yours says because yours is probably more accurate.
I mean, that's just a guess based on how the timer, I would assume the timer works, but I don't actually know.
worst case
I'm still
scenario,
new
they've
to
been
this.
listening to us, shoot
Talk
the
about
shit back and
bullshit.
forth. So whatever.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I talk a lot of bullshit, so
Yeah.
it should be over any second. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not popping up with the thing saying that it's done, but I don't know.
Yep.
My
When
back's
did I
been
send
hurting.
this message? Can I look at that?
Old age.
No. Yeah, same. I'm always old. I mean, I'm always old. I'm always in pain. I guess I am always old too. I'm not just old sometimes.
That's fair.
All right. I have no idea if the ads are over, but I feel like I want to assume that they are. We've
I
got
think so.
5 viewers currently, so I don't want to bore them if they are here. Ads are done now. Cool. Thank you, Sarah.
Yay! Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks.
Okay, so what I was gonna say, um, the funny actors in serious roles. Honestly, best Jim Carrey movie I've ever seen, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
We are
Hands
the
down.
same. We are the same fucking person because that
That
was
movie is
gonna
so
be.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, they take him out of the funny role, put him in the serious role, and immediately just, like, gold.
Hmm.
But also, he's also great as, Eggman on
Oh
Sonic.
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
dude. Like the thing about Jim Carrey,
Reconnaissance!
right? The thing about Jim Carrey that I've noticed throughout like his entire career is he's just like he kind of has this like weird method actor fucking aura around him, and just like puts himself into roles, and then on top of that, like he's got a very expressive face. So like
True.
in serious roles, he's really good at playing those serious roles because of just how
I
he
mean,
feels
yeah,
when he
I
does
can see
things.
that he's talented, and I do like a lot of his movies, but Eternal Sunshine is just
Hmm.
top tier for me for his game or
Agreed.
for his movies.
One of my
Like,
favorites.
always will be above the rest.
And
Um,
as much as I might get shit on for saying this, the number 23 was also a good one in my opinion.
I haven't seen that
Uh,
one
is
Um,
yet. I've
is
heard that
the
though.
Eternal Sunshine's one the one where the girl like tries to take his memories out of her mind?
yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
yeah, so I
they
have seen that
both
then.
they both have had their memories of each other
Yeah.
removed.
Yeah, kind of like
Um,
Severance.
That one is pretty sad, like
Kind
going
of.
through the heartbreak of being erased.
Hadn't even
Yeah.
thought of that. I
Yeah.
transitioned because of the funny and a serious role. I didn't even think about that connection.
Whoop,
The
let's loop it back
the
around,
memories.
fellas.
Connected to what?
Severance.
I'm lost. Oh.
Yeah.
Having your memories removed.
Hmm.
Okay,
It's
yeah, that
it's a
does. You're
pretty
right.
good connection.
Yep. Anyways,
But anyways,
We chat about random things.
we
yeah,
do.
it's
We
fun.
all have ADHD. um,
Yeah.
but speaking of funny, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm,
There's been some kind of leaks, I would say. Some of it is more speculation, but based off of a leak. So there was a leaked, I believe it was a video, um, of the co-creator last year, Brian. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Brian. Um, Speaking with Nickelodeon about the process of making multiple animated projects at a time. So that conversation happened, and then there was the leak of like a visual like timeline of their projects, essentially showing an order. Um, and so far, only some of it has been confirmed. A lot of it is speculation right now. Um, but there's supposedly going to be um, some feature films, animated feature films, which I prefer the animated stuff from that series.
I mean,
100%.
fair, fair.
The animated shit is so much better.
I
Like,
never saw the live action one.
I've
yeah,
seen like 2
I'll
episodes. That's it.
I'll give credit where credit is due. To like Netflix for doing that with One Piece. The live action One Piece wasn't terrible, even though, for instance, I was not the biggest
I
fan of
don't
One
mean
Piece.
animation overall. I mean
Yeah,
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I
Their
get
live
it.
action stuff has been
awful.
Have they
Yeah.
had more than
The
one? I've
show
only
is
known
better.
the movie.
The
Yeah.
movie's
There was a
garbage.
show?
There's a
Okay, I
show
didn't know
Movie's
there
now.
was a
the
show.
movie's
The movie's
dog
And
shit.
garbage.
I
That
haven't
doesn't
seen
exist.
anything live action from them. I've only seen
It's
animated.
the animated shit's better anyway, so don't
Yeah.
even bother.
Yeah. Don't
The
bother.
the animated or
Yeah.
the live action show I've heard gets even better throughout it, but I've only watched a couple of episodes and I there were some changes that made it hard for me to want to continue. I'm not saying I'm not okay with changes, it's just some of the changes they chose I was just kind of like I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
been routes that TV shows have gone where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to check back to this sometime, and then I never check back. 'Cause
yeah.
it's just
And then I've also heard a lot of people say that like Legend of Korra wasn't their favorite, but I kind
Legend
of
of Korra.
I fell
I
out
liked
of it a
it.
little bit partway through the first time I watched it, but I heard some really good things and I went back and watched it and I was also a little bit older at the time, so I had more I guess a better brain for critical thinking and noticing more things. Um so going back and watching it later, I watched it all the way through and I did love it. Obviously, Avatar The Last Airbender is going to be one of the best shows of all time forever and you can't match that. But
Controversial opinion. I think they're on par with each other.
I do think Legend of Korra is really good and I think there are some things that I can understand why people don't like them. Like
Of
her
course.
automatically having bending at 5. I
Yeah.
get why that would be frustrating, but I think the purpose of that the way I see it, the purpose of that, I think, was to show one that not every avatar develops in the same way, and two, I think they wanted to show that even if you start out with a leg up, you still can have insane struggles that will lead to character growth and eventually getting to your goal, but they can be a lot of large struggles. Um,
Thank you,
Yeah,
Sarah.
I've
Yeah,
You
I
never.
are.
agree. I agree, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank
Yeah,
you, Sarah.
I've never actually fully watched the first Avatar. With I
You
have fully
should.
watched Korra though,
I
because
love
I'm
it
all
so
for women.
much.
So
Oh,
I have
absolutely.
fully watched
I'm
Korra, and
also
I
all
liked
for
it.
women with women, so the ending
Yeah.
was
But I
Yeah.
do I have watched a lot of the first one. I just never went back and finished it, which
that's
I
fair.
should eventually. But
You'll
I
get to
You
it.
did
should.
finish Korra. I actually watched that pretty recently.
Sarah says
Yeah.
lesbians. But before Sarah said Cora will always be good in my opinion, a lot of the hate she got was
Mhm.
misogynistic.
Yeah.
I agree that that's true. I do think that
Yeah.
I'm like my sister didn't like Legend of Korra as much either, and she never got through it. But I did also
Mm.
kind of explain a little bit more to her about how I feel about the show, and I think she's more open to retrying. But she
Right.
was very thrown off by her automatically knowing three different types of bending right at the beginning,
I mean,
and that seems to be the biggest complaint
I
from what I've heard.
my whole thing, right, is when you look at it from the terms of The Last Airbender versus Legend of Korra, right? And I do believe they are on par with each other. I really do.
I think it's
Uh,
a little bit.
when you look
Well,
at it in terms of that, like it's just trying to show you that like what Brianna said, that even people that are in a much better position still struggle. Everyone fucking struggles, right?
actually, totally unrelated to that, but related to Legend of Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Um, shit, what was I gonna say? This
I
is
don't
the
know. You're telling the
downside of
story.
doing a stoner podcast.
yeah, see, I would just say my last thought on the last thing is maybe I didn't find The Legend of Korra as big of a deal because I didn't finish the first one. So her knowing three things to me was just like, oh, she knows three things, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair. That's fair.
so
Yeah, that's
I don't
fair.
I don't have all like
Oh,
the
I
die
remember.
hard thoughts on it.
I remember what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. I think
Okay.
another part of the reason why people didn't like Legend of Korra as much is because they were hoping to get that feeling of nostalgia, but it's not gonna be nostalgia because it's gonna be a new character. It's gonna be a new experience. But I think it's similar to like a lot of the reason why people are like falling out of Critical Role with Campaign 3. It's because you get attached to the characters and then they're not there anymore. It doesn't mean that the show isn't good. It just means you're having a hard time giving it a chance because you miss those characters that you love so much. Like for me, it's easily Zuko, Sokka, and Toph. Easily, I miss them a lot.
To further your point, nostalgia can be a huge driver for a lot of
I
people
love
as to whether
nostalgia.
they'll follow a sequel or not. So like yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
I was saying earlier, you could have a theme park like Nostalgia Land and just have it be like 90s theme stuff. Bring us back all
Yeah,
the
Hell
snacks that
yeah.
are outdated. I'd
Wait,
go.
I would love that.
Those
what about
those fruity Altoids in the tins, I miss those. Bring
Dog,
them back. Yeah.
I
dog.
want a rocket power themed skate park. Like I won't go skating
That would
there,
be
but
in
like
Nostalgia
I'd
Land. That'd
watch.
totally be.
And you gotta like they might do like live shows occasionally where they have people cosplaying as the characters skating around.
Dude, no, fuck that. Fuck that.
That would be so
I'm gonna
fun.
no, take it a step further. Take it a step further. Surfing lessons with Uncle
That
Tito.
too, yeah. That'd be fun.
Just saying. Just
I
saying.
I just
Dude,
it would
if
have all of
anyone
the stuff that we need.
with all my two viewers,
We
if
could all get
if
out.
either of you two people who I already know who you are are in control of Rocket Power and
Is it
its
is it Sean and Sarah?
productions, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're
That's
talking
the
to one
best
of them
part.
right here, face
Yeah,
to
one of
face.
you two make this happen.
Okay. All right. We could
We're
all let
gonna
out
make
our
it
inner
happen.
Sam and
This
learn
is
how to surf.
yeah. This
Yeah.
is our first
Thank you,
business
Sarah.
meeting on the Nostalgia Land board.
Yes,
We're gonna
we
get
will
to
make it
work.
happen.
I'm trying to think of like what
Oh,
other types of like.
the treehouse from Codename Kid Next Door. Gotta have that.
Oh
I fucking
yeah.
loved that show. I know a lot of people didn't, but I loved that show.
What about
Also,
I need some courage
a
the cowardly
Courage the
dog.
Cowardly Dog
Yeah.
Crooked House?
I never liked that show, but I know
I
it's
liked it.
nostalgic for a lot of
Oh,
people. It
oh,
terrified me. I couldn't do
oh,
It
it.
Courage the
oh!
Cowardly
You're
Dog
hurting
could
my
be a
feelings.
haunted. It
Oh,
could be a haunted ride. But
I
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
scared. I couldn't watch it when
you
I was
get
younger.
knocked over by the guy that's like, get out of my way, you fools.
Yeah. You are hurting my
um
feelings, Brianna.
Also, there's got to be a roller coaster with Jimmy Neutron's rocket.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
lots of.
Absolutely.
That might already exist. Probably not, but it should. If it doesn't, it should.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to. I'm more like set on the snacks that they could have, like the honey barbecuings KFC got rid of 20 years ago. Like,
Fucking McDonald's
green,
Szechuan
Yeah.
sauce.
I've
green
never had
ketchup
that,
from
but
Green
yeah.
Eggs and Ham
Ugh.
back in the day.
You know what I don't miss that I think they actually still make but shouldn't is that mix peanut butter jelly in a jar. That shit
Oh
was so
yeah.
gross. The peanut butter was all like hard on the edges that were touching the jelly and it was like a disgusting texture. And then the jelly was like the cheapest garbage. Like
Yeah, I was
it's
thinking
so
like there
gross.
could be like a little kid area where they have like little buildings and there could be like a Bon Marché, like buildings that don't exist anymore. Like a little, it'd be like a little store for a kid to
Be
shop
fun.
in.
I also think I want
I got a lot of
the
ideas.
school from Recess.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Now you're speaking something I'm aware of and know.
Oh, Chalk Zone. Chalk Zone would be a perfect fucking.
Dude,
We're making this
that would be
happen.
so crazy. I would love that.
Okay, but
All right.
it is 6:20 and we're
Moving
still
on.
talking about shows. We didn't even talk
Moving
about
on.
the things in the Avatar. Okay, I'm just going to try and go through real quick the Avatar stuff and then let's go to games.
Cliff
But
notes.
okay, so obviously we talked about this part already, but the Earth Avatar TV show has we know it's happening. But there are some other theories that I've heard about, one other theory at least. Uh, Before it was people were talking about like whether her being a twin means that her twin can also have the power of Rava. But there are also people wondering, or not Rava. What's the other one? Rava's the bad one, huh?
You're telling the story.
Ah, I probably have it in here actually. Yeah, Rava. Rava's the good one. Okay. Do they both have the spirit of Rava, Or does Pavi have the spirit of Rava and the other one has the spirit of Vatu and is going to be like an anti-Avatar?
Interesting.
Like,
Well, Jedi
I
and Sith.
don't know what that would mean,
Jedi
but
and
it would be
Sith.
so
That's what it
cool if they
means.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that happens because that sounds really interesting. But also, I'm not sure how they would pull that off in a way that it, like, how are you going to explain that there has never been, um, that's never been before? Like, that's never happened before. Why did it take this long? You know, like,
Yeah.
if they give us some backstory for that and why it hasn't happened, great. Like I loved finding out about the first Avatar in Legend of Korra. That was one of my favorite things that happened in that series was finding out the history of how the Avatar came into existence. That was so fucking cool to me. Um, but if we get more backstory like that, where we get another flashback into the past and follow another character that at some point took on the spirit of Vatu and we just didn't hear about it yet, that would be fucking cool. I would love that. Um, but also, there is going to be a theatrical movie on in January of next year. Uh, Animated still. Think it's going to be called Aang the Last Airbender, so it should be. I think it's going to be adult Aang essentially.
That would be cool.
I'm so down for that. And
That would
Dante
be
Basco is supposed to be
nice to
returning.
see.
All new voice actors for the others, but Dante Basco is going to be there, and I love him. I'm so excited for him to continue as Zuko.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
I don't really have much else to say about Avatar. This is your thing.
I know. But then also, there's going to be two other movies that there's nothing really confirmed about those right now, but the images on the little timeline thing that it showed were images of Aang. Not sure if that means that it's going to be a trilogy movie series or if it's just going to be if those are just placeholders for now, just showing that there'll be movies in that uh, universe. Um, and then also expecting another TV show down the line that looks like it's going to be an airbending TV show, whether it's an airbending avatar or just about the airbenders coming back, essentially.
Okay.
I have no idea. If they expand on that, that would be really cool because I know that they started to come back in Legend of Korra, and so to see them redevelop a society would be really cool.
Right.
But I don't know if it's gonna star in Avatar or if it's just gonna be that. Um, and then another thing that looks like a firebending project that's just listed under new content. No idea what that means. But it could be the video game that they're working on that supposedly is a AAA video game called Avatar
Wars.
Ice Wars, yeah. So lots of news, lots of animated things, which
Lots of
I'm
stuff,
really
yeah.
excited about. I'm really, really happy to go back into the animated world of Avatar: The Last Airbender because the live action stuff hasn't been my thing.
Right.
um, but games,
Okay. Games. Who wants to
games.
start? Who wants to start?
You, what did you, Michaela? You wanted to talk about um, Co-op House Flipper. We definitely have to play
Yeah.
that at some
That's
point.
it's just coming out in May.
May? Okay, good to
Yeah.
know.
May 2025 co-op house flipper.
Sweet. We're gonna have to
Yeah, I'm
check that out and
excited.
make sure that they fix the glitches that we were struggling with getting
I
everyone in the
know the
game.
fact that
We
you
had to,
couldn't have like
yeah, I
the
had to
same like
invite
tools. Yeah.
Sarah first, and then you guys couldn't unlock your tools or anything like that. I think, and if they fix that, that would be great. If not, I probably won't ever play
I know.
multiplayer
I
on
need
there.
it to be fixed too for
Yeah.
me to want to play it. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, on to other games because there's not much to say about that one.
Yeah, I know. There's not.
A lot of
It's
games have come
exciting
out this
though.
month, though. Most of
Yes.
them indie games, but at least that I know of. But a lot of games have come out this month, and I found a few that seem really interesting, and I'm excited to try them. One of them is a multiplayer one, Unpossess. It's basically just an exorcism simulator, 1 to 4 players. Probably has similar vibes to Phasmo and Demonologist, things like that. Um, but it looks like something we could play together.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun.
Um, it does seem to have similar assets to Demonologist, so you know, probably gonna have the booty on our characters.
Yeah, I remember that.
um, but one of the games that I'm excited to play soon is a horror game called Minty. It came out on January 5th, and it's based in uh, the ruins of the ancient Egyptian pyramids, essentially, but a specific tomb. And basically, you play as a historian and photographer who is trying to basically uncover the mystery of what built the pyramids, and it definitely seems to include some alien themes, but horror as well.
Aliens.
And so I'm really excited for that combo. That
Yeah,
sounds
that
fun.
sounded good too.
I definitely want to try that one out probably soon, actually. I probably will play that sometime later this week. Um,
Aliens.
it's only like $7, I think.
Oh,
So
really?
I'll probably be getting that like in the next few days, most likely.
Hell
Maybe
yeah, dude.
maybe like
Hell yeah.
Thursday when I get paid.
Let me
The
know.
Minty.
Let me know how it is, cause I might be fucking like hella dope to watch that stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I think it'll be a fun one.
Fuck yeah.
I'll definitely be streaming it when I get it,
Hell yeah.
because otherwise I won't be playing it, because I don't play single player horror games if it's not on stream.
I
Dude,
know.
single
I gotta
player
feel
horror
like I'm not
games.
alone.
Yeah, I
Single
know
single
what
player
you
horror
mean.
games are so fun.
What are you saying,
Um,
Michaela?
Oh, I was
You're...
saying I know I don't like playing them by myself too. Some
Yeah.
of the time it freaks me out.
I think the last time I truly had a fucking scary horror experience was Alien Isolation. Fuck.
I haven't played that one. But
Fuck.
I remember back when we would like play Outlast and pass the controller back and forth, we still never beat that. I still haven't beat it. I've tried to play it solo so many times and I just can't do
Hard.
it. I can't get through
Hard.
it because I want to
It's hard
pass
to
the
play it.
controller. I'm like, I'm too scared. Someone else
Uh-huh.
finish it. I'll
Yeah.
watch.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't done that in a while.
Michaela, did you end up getting the Silent Hill 2 remake?
Oh, I heard about that.
I know.
Oh, dude.
You'd probably
Being
like it.
being
Was
as
it
you
good?
like Silent Hill, are you ready to be scared shitless?
They
Was
made
it
it a
good?
lot more realistic, so I guarantee
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot more terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some
Realism
that
is
is just really
important for
hard to
horror.
play by yourself. It'd be
Oh
one thing
yeah.
if I like just talked to myself or like had one other person watching, but maybe I could. Jesse's not always into scary, but take turns or something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Like you
That's what
guys
me
were
and Sean
saying
used to do. Yeah.
Outlast, I had to watch someone play that because I wasn't gonna play that. Being
I
chased a lot
watched
is not my thing.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
watched the whole game all the way through before
Yeah.
I ever even played it. I actually played it or watched my friends play it years ago, back when like streaming was pretty new, and they were streaming it, and they played it all the way through in one sitting, and I watched, um, just from the couch.
Yeah.
I was like there with them, but I didn't play because I was too scared. And then I finally got up the courage and bought it and started playing it, and then I was too scared, so I didn't play it again until me and Sean played it together. And then
Right.
I haven't touched it since then.
Right.
I
Yeah.
did like one
No.
stream of it like a year or two ago, and now I'm like, I don't want to keep going. It's scary.
It's creepy, dude. I don't blame you. Like one
There's
bit.
some there's just some games that are just harder to play. Like I've played little bits and pieces of, but then I get too scared and I don't go
Yeah.
back to it that much.
I hate that I love horror because I also hate
I know.
horror.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. Horror games are fun though, man. Like,
They are.
there's some that aren't too bad, like Little Nightmares
Oh yeah,
2,
Little
shit like
Nightmares.
that, where they're just like a little creepy, but they're not really truly scary. And
That sounds
some of
kind of
those,
like one of the other ones we've got.
right? Some of those can be great. So is it my turn to talk about a game though?
Sure. Go ahead.
So like, Brianna turned me on to one earlier, Rangers of the South.
Rangers in the
uh,
South, but
or
yes.
Rangers in the South. You're right. Um, it looks like a top-down isometric kind of like ARPG, but it's like a roguelike. And then it kind of has the art style of 2.5D, kind of like Octopath Traveler, if anybody's familiar. Um, it looks really fucking cool. Like the shit I was reading, kind of it plays out like Vampire Survivors or Halls of Torment, where you basically just go through and you kill a bunch of things, and then every once in a while you pick up an item or you level up or whatever. I'm not really 100% sure how their system works, but um, it pulls up like a choice of four different things that you can choose to upgrade your character as you go. So like builds are dynamic, like most God, what is the word I'm looking for? Roguelikes,
Yeah.
sorry. They're dynamic like most roguelikes, but it kind of fits within like a dungeon crawler aspect, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Just seeing that. That's kind of my niche. I love ARPG games, and
And
to see
it's
anything that's kind of
really
like
cute
that, I'm like,
looking too.
let's go.
Michaela,
Yeah, for
you'd
sure.
probably love the aesthetic. It's like a 3D-ish world, but the sprite is a little two-dimensional like Nintendo,
Yeah,
like old
like Super
Nintendo
Nintendo.
style, yeah, like
Super
Super
Nintendo.
Nintendo style sprites. So like your
Yeah.
little character is a
How
tiny little
cute.
two-dimensional cartoon character moving around on a 3D world. Um, and it looks really adorable, and that's one of the things that intrigued me at first, and then the more I like looked into it, I'm like, it's a roguelike, it's cute, maybe it'll scratch that itch that I've been missing from Dreamscaper, because I want the cute still.
Yeah.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
do
yeah.
want to play Hades 2 for
Do
sure,
it. Do
but
it.
that's more like aesthetically, yes, like it's
Yeah.
got great art, but this is cute art. And so it's just a different vibe, and I think because I love Dreamscaper so much, but I'm like done with it essentially. All I can do now is 100% unlock everything, but I've already gotten the perfect ending as far as I know. I don't think that there's another perfect ending. So it just feels kind of like there's not really a reason to continue playing it forever, but I love it so much. I'm really hoping that this game will have that replayability for me, because it
It
seems like it
should.
will. It
Yeah.
says that there's hundreds of unique abilities, different character traits, and different equipment that's procedurally generated. So it's going to have like, probably I would assume they'd have specific items that can have one or two from a set of different enchantments on it, and it just randomizes what you find.
So
I'd
from what it
assume.
looks like to me, to give you like a little more context on that, what I was seeing, it kind of does look like it's more set up like Vampire Survivors though, where it's like you have a few choices, and while yes, there's millions of combinations, I'm sure. I think it's gonna play out more like something kind of like Enter the Gungeon or shit like that, where it's like
There's a cat.
you're gonna have items that have things, and then you'll be able to improve those things with levels. At least I'm hoping that's kind of what the vibe I
I'm
got,
not sure yet, but
but I'm not sure either.
it
And
looks
if that
cute
ends up
though,
being the
either way.
case, I'm down for it. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm sad that it's single player, but also a lot of games like that are, so I get it.
Yeah,
I would love to have a multiplayer option down the line if they ever felt like doing that. I would absolutely play it multiplayer with my friends, but I also get why they did single player.
right.
Most roguelikes, as far as I know, are single player. I don't think I've seen any that aren't, now that I can think of it. Like,
No, no,
maybe some
I
of the
think
deck building ones. I don't know if Balatro is versus a computer or people, but
no,
that's
it's versus a
different.
computer. Nope,
Okay.
straight up versus a computer, dude. I can confirm that. I have that
Okay.
game. It's
I
really
do
good,
remember you
by
playing
the
that for a
way.
bit.
Really good, but yeah, no, there's no co-op in that.
Yeah.
It's poker.
But I'm definitely excited for that one. I think there will be a lot of replayability because you can choose just so many from with so many things to choose from. It's basically going to be like when I play Dreamscaper and my build is dependent on what items I find,
Yeah.
um,
I think
and
like
things like that. I
I
think
think
that'll
like
be
the
fun.
only roguelike I've ever seen that has a multiplayer aspect is Risk of Rain,
I don't know that one.
specifically Risk of Rain 2, which is like a fucking third-person shooter roguelike. But outside of that, yeah, I think you're right. Like, most of them are first-person games.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the exact like definition of a roguelike because I think
Yeah.
if you really think about it, Lethal Company is kind of has some like
Oh yeah, no,
aspects of
absolutely.
that,
It is a roguelike. You're
and
right.
that's
Yeah.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like you go as far as you can go. Once you die, you start again. Like you
Yeah.
start from the beginning.
Yep.
Um,
That is a roguelike.
so that's multiplayer, but that's also a very different format.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's an extraction game, and extraction games are typically multiplayer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that's probably like an evolution of that kind of like mindset of genre too.
Yeah,
Um, but
but yeah, another game that looks really good. Me and Michaela were talking about it earlier.
ah,
Um, one of the ones that we were saying is like has spooky vibes, but not scary. I don't think there's going to be any danger in it. But The Haunting of Joni Evers is like a narrative game. Like it's for the story, but it seems like it has some spooky stuff. You were talking about it earlier. Do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, it
go for
kind
it.
of gave me like what has become of Edith Finch vibes. And when I was going through the comments, other people were saying that the game did kind of seem like that.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I ended up picking it up. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try it soon because it's gonna be like story driven, and I love a good story.
Yeah.
And it does say that it's a little eerie and stuff, but it's not like super scary, and the puzzles will be fun.
Yeah. I enjoy games like that. Edith Finch was excellent. I
Oh
loved that
yeah,
game.
Edith Finch was really good. Which there was like another game that they said around that too, but I can't. I wrote it. I'll have to send it to you.
I feel like I have another game that I know of that has like similar vibes, but I can't think of what it is.
Yeah.
I want to say Ether 1, but that one's a bit different. It's kind of got similar vibes. It's like it's got the
Oh yeah, I remember
spooky
you
vibe, but
mentioning
nothing
that
actually
earlier.
happens
Yeah.
that's dangerous.
Yeah, that's similar.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That one was a little emotional at times, but it was really good.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, the Edith Finch one was just really good too because I
Hmm.
loved how it was each character and stuff, and wondering how this one's gonna be, if it'll be the same way or
Yeah.
what. But it is a fun little story type of game and like a walking simulator.
Yeah. Definitely a walking simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a fun one with a lot of
Yes,
story and a lot of
I know.
puzzles, and I'm excited to try that one. I probably will also try that one sometime in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when exactly, but
Yeah, same.
I do plan
I
on
buy
trying that one
things
as
and then
well.
just like put them in a list of when to try.
I have so many games at this point that I
I
want
know.
to play. It's so hard
I
to
have a list I
decide.
haven't of games that I haven't played yet too, but
Yeah.
one of
So
these
hard to
days.
decide what to play. There's so many
I know.
choices.
You got you got another one that's intriguing to you outside of what Brianna just brought up, Caleb?
Out of the ones that were written down, none of them really like. Oh, I'm excited for Inzoi, of
I
course.
thought you were
Oh,
going to say
right.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sims, dog.
Yeah,
Sims.
that one comes out March 28th of this year,
I'm
and
excited.
it's gonna give Sims a run for its money, and it's gonna
I
be
hope
I
so.
hope
more
so.
hyper realistic, and
Yeah.
I'm just all around excited because I still love Sims, even
Oh,
though
absolutely,
Sims
yeah.
is like its own, like it controls, like you
I've
don't see much games like it.
Yeah.
I've 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 moved
They
Exactly.
don't
on
really have
because
any
in order
competition.
to play the full
Uh-huh.
game, it's like $600 or
Well,
downloading a fucking hack. But
They released like Sims 3 and Sims 4 as just a free download play.
But
You
all the
just
good
have to,
content.
but
yeah,
all the
but
content costs
you can
six
still
hundred
mod though.
dollars.
You can mod
Yeah.
it and give
Yeah,
yourself some
Yeah.
other stuff.
I
I
always use
will say
custom
though,
content. I
this
don't
is me talking,
often
and I
bother
own
anymore
like a
with
lot of expansion
expansions.
packs.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
own a
own a
lot of
lot.
expansion
Yeah.
packs too, and I did spend a lot of money on them, but I typically only ever bought expansions when they had like a
Oh,
bundle
on
deal.
sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that I could get
the bundle
multiple
too.
new contents at once with a
You know,
bundle.
speak about Sims though,
But even then, it's too much
it
money.
did release a new update that changed the home screen, and it also updated some of the houses in some of the old maps. Like the Goths got a house upgrade,
Nice.
the Pancakes did, I
I've
think.
never heard of them.
Yeah, there's Joffrey or whatever they are, the lab grabs. They got an upgrade on their house and stuff, and so they also came out with more cosmetics and stuff too. So just in like a new update, they released some new things. So they're saying start all your games from scratch, and then you'll see the new stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying it out. I haven't really noticed much, but I mean, I guess like some things they
I
took away, and
I don't even really interact with the other characters that much. Like I know a lot of people do and like play as them or follow their
oh, I
lives
don't
or
play
whatever,
as them.
but I literally never even pay any attention to the other characters. Like I only ever use them when I need to make friends for a
Yeah.
job promotion. Like that's it. That's all they
Yeah,
are.
or if
Yeah.
they're like attractively made, then I'm like maybe you could end up being the girlfriend or boyfriend or baby mama or whatever to my sim, and
I
that's
always make my
eventually when I get
Sims
into the
with a
moving stage.
romance idea in
Oh,
mind
see, I've
already.
never made. I usually make one sim and then she
Oh.
plays the field for a while, and she girl and boy just like normally a lot more girl at first because it's like there's a lot more girls that look nice compared to the guys. Like they made a
Yeah.
lot of the guys doofy, but
Doofy. I love that.
yeah.
It's a good
It's like the
word.
cop from Scream. It'd be like
Um,
Scary Movie. I think they named him Doofy.
yeah, but I really hope Enzoy gives them I guess the competition that they need. Because
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
right now they've fallen into just creating as little content as possible for as much money as possible. And that's it. That's their whole business model and it's like you have to try now. There is
Keep in mind.
competition and it's good. You have to try.
Keep in
Yeah, and
mind.
if you
The,
look
the,
at Inzoi compared to Sims 2, Inzoi looks way more realistic. But
right.
Sims has mods that you can obviously make it more
This
realistic,
will
but
one day
Inzoi's
too, I'm
coming out
sure.
like that. Yeah.
Keep in mind that Sims is owned by Electronic Arts, the CEO of which, when it was created, um, wanted to charge people fucking a microtransaction amount for reloads in a fucking video game with shooting. Like,
That's
I'm not
stupid.
even fucking kidding you.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that's how greedy they are. They're piecemealing out all of their fucking content for The Sims. Like, I think in order to buy all of the expansions in the Sims 4, it cost like $1,000 or some shit like
I don't
that.
remember
Last time I
exactly, but
checked,
it's definitely
Nah, it's
several
not.
hundred.
it's
Yeah, it's definitely. I
insane.
don't think it's close like 1,000, and you definitely get a lot of them on sale. That's the only time I buy
Sure, of
them.
course, you
I
get them
would
on
say
sale,
it's
but
probably at
full
least
price.
600.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
because each of them are like expansion packs are like $40 each.
it's
So
Yeah.
it's kind of fucking insane to me,
There are
right?
some that are like 40 or 50, there are some that are like 20 or 30, and then there are some that are like 15, and then now they have the even smaller content packs that are like
yeah, those are
$5.
$5 and they come with like clothes and some decorations. I'm not gonna spend that.
No,
Right, and like
but
like
people will.
I'm
my
just
whole
gonna
point
throw away
here
money and then.
Yeah, right. My whole point here is kind of ironic because, like, honestly, I play a game that I've put like $200 into. But that's neither here nor there. EA really is the one who popularized the format of piecemealing content piece by piece. And here's 99 cents. Here's a piece for $1. Here's a piece for $3. Here's a piece for $5. Here's a big expansion for 20, and getting people to pay for it year after year after year. They do it with
Yeah,
FIFA. They do it with The Sims. They do
Uh,
it with um,
everything.
quite a
well, yeah,
few
but
of their
now
other
there's
games.
so many games that have microtransactions too, though. Even Dead by Daylight, you can buy characters and
Right,
just
exactly.
outfits and
And
stuff.
and
There's
and,
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
what
I
I'm trying
mean,
to get at is EA laid the way for they
see, but
walked so that companies like the people who made Dead by Daylight could run. I'm serious.
I mean, if EA wouldn't have
Microtransactions.
done it though, someone else probably would have. So.
Of course, of course.
I I
If we're gonna
do
go to the
hate
very first,
microtransactions,
it
but
was
like
Bethesda.
I feel like there is an extent that I'll put up with.
Yeah,
Like Sims, I stopped buying their stuff altogether for after a while because I've
right,
I've spent enough. I have enough content that I'm happy with and can get mods for the rest. But it's like I stopped buying because it's not just there are some microtransactions. It's that it's a huge amount of content.
hmm
Used to be more content than it is now, but a
yeah,
huge amount of content that's being added to the game, not just in items,
right,
but in gameplay.
right,
And they are continuously releasing those. They haven't
sure,
made a new Sims game in like over 10 years, I think even longer.
Well, they
And
also said they weren't gonna do Sims 5 anymore. They're just gonna
yeah,
try
they were
and
going
like
to, and now they're
polish up
not.
Sims
Well,
4 as
I
best they
mean,
Because they're
can.
milking the money. Why would they? Why would
I
they
mean,
move on when they don't have
if I
to?
could,
I mean,
if I could
I'm not.
transition, um, if I could transition, it's really like the same thing, man. It's really the same thing. Like, there are plenty of games out there now that do the same thing. And I'm sorry I cut you off, Michaela. What were you trying to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I still purchase Sims. I haven't had my limit yet.
Right. That's fair. That's
I
fair.
still get
Sarah
expansion
just
Totally
said
packs.
fair.
she looked it up and did the math, and it's over $1,200 for all of the
See,
Sims and
I was
DLCs.
See,
saying
I
Sims
was
like
4.
it's
thinking
like a
just
thousand
maps. I wasn't
dollars.
thinking of all of the little extra stuff that
Right.
they
Yeah,
had.
Yeah.
there's a
Like
lot.
right. And
Damn.
that's kind of my point, right? Is like
For one
again,
game.
yeah,
One
on one
game.
fucking game to get all the content. There's other games out there like
And they're not even done. They're
Stellaris.
going to keep making more
Um,
content. It's going to keep growing. That number is going to get
right.
bigger.
Yeah. Stellaris, Hearts of Iron, Civilization to a little bit of an effect. It kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, it's commonplace now. Like I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I understand why it exists.
Yeah.
It, like like it sucks. It sucks. But they had to do this to maintain financial. They had to do this to maintain financial targets to continue going forward, right? And like the shitty part about it is that like doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what we as gamers want. These companies are going to do whatever the fuck.
Well, luckily, there are some companies that aren't doing that, and
That's fair.
their voice is growing.
That's fair.
So
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
think that'll start to change, but there are
Yeah.
some companies that won't, most likely, and will
Larian's a
fall
great
behind.
example. Yeah,
Larian's
Larian's a great
amazing.
example. Yeah.
It always comes back to
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 every
Right.
time.
Yeah. Um, I'm really
Super
particular
excited for Envoy though.
Yes.
on grinding gear games and Path of Exile. They've put out a game that has gone for fucking 10 years, and they kind of have a scummy practice. There's that
Yeah.
hypocrisy shit I was talking about myself, you know. But at the same time, like they add shit to the game year after year, right? So like
Yeah.
I can understand why it exists, but at the same time, it's like, man, there's some people that really, really take it for granted and for advantage. And
Yeah,
and I
they're
think
they're
I think
definitely games that start out with like it is possible to do games with microtransactions as a way to support the creators
right,
because the game is otherwise cheap or whatever. Like that's fair, but that's
right,
usually better with like indie game makers.
yeah,
When it's a big corporation like that, they
hmm
are it's never about supporting the game. It's
no,
about
it's about
making
supporting the
as much profit as
fucking
possible.
right. It's about supporting the greed at the top. EA is the epitome of that, right? And that was really the whole
Yeah.
point.
And that's why I like that on Steam now there's like that feature that the indie games can uh have supporter packs. And so you can choose to purchase a supporter pack and it'll just give you a little bit of extra content. But it's not a continuous microtransaction. It's one thing of content that they're like, here, you can have this. It's like music from the game. It's the soundtrack or whatever, but it
Path
supports the developers. That's
Path of
cool.
Exile,
I'm fine with
Path of
that.
Exile. Path of Exile. You've just
Yeah.
spoke everything I like about the monetization model of Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it supports the developers but isn't just a cash cow because it's obviously something if one person has it in the game, everyone's going to want to have it because it gives you a leg up.
Right.
Instead of that, it's we're giving you this thing that is totally optional and you don't need for the game at all, but it helps support us, like the
Oh yeah,
music from the game.
my teenager's been wanting us to let him buy like this 60 something dollar thing on some Roblox game, and we're like, nope,
Nope.
nope, you're not
Nope.
wasting your money on that. Better, you might as well take it outside and burn it in a trash can. We're
Yeah.
not
No.
doing this. Like,
No shot, dog. No
yeah,
shot.
No.
Nope.
yeah.
Um. Do I have permission to do one more topic and run this a little long?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Is that cool
Yeah.
with you, Michaela?
I'm
Yeah.
cool.
I want to talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Okay.
Um, dude, if anybody hasn't seen this shit, um, this is gonna be King Shit a Fuck Mountain. Okay. Um, I'm speaking from nostalgia here, right? I played this shit when I was like a fucking teenager on the PlayStation 2, dog. Um, one of my favorite games that has ever fucking existed. Uh, and it's so goofy. It's like the American version of like James Bond, but with like weird Japanese goofy shit in it. Um, I don't know, man. There's something about Metal Gear Solid that's just chef's kiss. Uh, and they're
So many of
remaking
them.
it. They're remaking it. They're redoing it in a new engine.
Jesse loves
And
them.
yeah, Jesse loves Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Jesse's the one who turned me on to Metal Gear Solid. I
Oh,
had
you turned him
no
on to Metal
idea
Gear
about it
Solid.
until he said something. So I will be giving him credit on 100% of my
He's
love
giving
of
you
this game
100% credit.
to him. Um, but yeah, no, dude, like it looks
No,
so
you
sick.
turned him onto it.
Yeah, Jesse turned
Yeah,
me
that's
onto
the
it.
thing.
It was not
Yeah.
me, dude. I did not turn him
Yeah,
onto
he
this.
mistook it, and I
Yeah,
was like,
no.
no, you turned him
Yeah, it
onto
was
it.
absolutely Jesse that turned me onto it. And
Yeah.
it's dude, it's so fucking goofy. It's so fucking goofy and I
Yeah.
love every bit of it. And that
Yeah.
game was like the pinnacle.
I've
I'm so excited for the people who have never played it and they're gonna see this fucking cool game that comes out. It's like, dude, I'm gonna figure out what this is fucking about. And they're gonna play the best goddamn entry. I'm so fucking stoked. I'm so fucking stoked.
I
Yeah.
haven't played that obviously,
I
but I've
haven't
watched
either.
you play it and we've watched people on YouTube play it. Um, and I think my favorite things about it are one, the super dramatic overacting of the main character.
Uh-huh.
It's very silly, but
Yes.
also the ladder
Yes, the
the
ladder
ladder
scene.
scene.
The ladder scene.
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
still gonna
Literally just climbing a
keep
ladder for like 3 minutes while a song plays.
it up.
Super
Dude,
dramatic song.
banger. That song is a banger. And
It's
it's
funny.
a Bond song. It's a Bond song. The game opens up like a fucking James Bond movie. Need I say more?
Oh no.
God, I love that game, dude. And I'm so excited for it to come out. I will absolutely be buying that shit on day
Oh,
one because I
Jesse
know
will
what
be
I'm in
too.
for. Yeah,
Yeah, you guys will
absolutely.
have to voice chat and play it at the same time.
Hmm.
Race each other to the
For
finish.
sure. For sure.
Speed run.
Yeah, speed runs.
Did you see that happen? No,
All right. Before we close out the show, I do want to talk about something a little bit more serious.
Hmm.
Um, the fires in LA were devastating to a lot of people. A lot of people lost their
Yes.
homes. Um, I know there's not really anyone in chat, but these messages will remain there. Um, so I have a link that I'm putting in the chat, and I'm also going to put it in the description when I upload the VOD on YouTube. Um, there's a master post of GoFundMe's for people that have lost their homes. Um, and then I also have a link for Critical Role's producer Kyle, him and his partner lost their home, and there is a GoFundMe for that as well. I'm not sure if that one's still open. I think so, but also um, the link to the Wildfire Recovery Fund. And I will also put those in the description of the VOD on YouTube. But I definitely think that if anyone can afford to, please do. A lot of people have nothing now.
Yeah, no,
Um,
dude.
It's horrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful.
A fear.
But um, Critical Role is also helping with that. They donated $30,000 to the California uh, Wildlife Recovery Fund as well. Um, and I'm not sure if they're still donating to that through the Critical Role Foundation, but they were, and they made a donation of 30,000. They may still be collecting for that, but when I looked, it was just their usual
That's awesome.
foundations that they support or are partnered with. But yeah, so it's really important that if anyone watches this and sees those links and can afford to give, that hopefully they would do that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and sign off with that
Yeah.
Right on.
and say cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.